Hi everyone, welcome to Paris and Beyond Tours. Welcome to the Eiffel Tower. I hope that you're doing well. My name is Ferret. I'm going to be your tour guide today. Yep. That's my face. And we're at the Eiffel Tower with all these crazy people trying to leave the Eiffel Tower before the curfew ends and starts. Isn't she amazing? I've been living in Paris for almost all my life, and I still find that she's quite amazing, inspiring, and most of all emotional. Every single time you get here, you can feel something. You can feel you're in France, you can feel you're in Paris, you can feel your night may be romantic, and I hope that you will have a fun time with me. So we're going to walk towards the Eiffel Tower today, and people are really happy to be back out. So we're going to be out towards the Eiffel Tower. I'm going to share to you some of my favorite secrets about it. And that's going to be it. Welcome to Paris and Beyond Tours. Let's switch back. Boom! Isn't she amazing? Right? That woman has been looking at her for a good 70 years now, 80 years, since 1930s. Why the Eiffel Tower has been built? Question, right? Hard question. Some people would say for the World Fair of 1889, right? World Fair of 1889. What is a World Fair? Where was the very first World Fair taking place? Well, it was not in Paris. It was in our best friend's country, in England, in London, 1855, right? Queen Victoria, Prince Albert organizing the very first World Fair. And there is something that is left on this first World Fair, which is, what is it? Come on, man. Which is the Crystal Palace. Maybe you have heard of the Crystal Palace. Maybe you have heard of his amazing football team. Maybe you have heard of the metro station, the parking lot, or even the Crystal Palace itself. Because the Crystal Palace is still there today. It was a marvel of glass and iron. But 1855, we organized the very first French World Fair. So 1855, what do we have? Well, a man called Napoleon III. And so Napoleon III organizes the very first French World Fair in Paris. So this is great, and there is a young man called Gustave Alexander Bonnickhausen Eiffel. And what about this young man? He just graduated as an engineer. I read somewhere that Eiffel was a kid, you know. He was this middle class young boy, and he was at the back of the classroom throwing paper toast at his friends like this, and he was not really paying much attention to the course. So at some point his mom, when he was 16 years old, sent him to work in a dyeing factory with one of his uncles to produce, to work as a laborer in a factory producing colors and dyes. So Eiffel is there, 16 years old, and he is going to be coming back from that experience with an eagerness to work hard at school. And this is what is going to save him from, I don't know which future it was going to be, but to get him on a track to become a talented engineer. So Eiffel is here, about to become an engineer. He's 23 years old now, 5 years into an amazing engineering school in France, and he's coming with his mom at the Eiffel Tower, not at the Eiffel, at the World Fair of 1855, and he's walking hand in hand with his mom like this, and it's like, one of these moments. They go to the Arch of Triumph, of course, they look at the view, they look at the World Fair. The World Fair takes place right there, up just behind the Eiffel Tower. This is where most of the French Parisian World Fair took place, because we had quite a few. So that's it. Eiffel starts his career, and he's going to be, he was the Elon Musk, the Steve Jobs of the time. Maybe not as famous. He started as a good engineer, working for a railway company that tries to build a bridge in Bordeaux. And that bridge crossing the river is still there today. You can still go on the very first bridge of Eiffel when you are taking the speed trains, the bullet trains, going to Bordeaux in 2 hours. to drink a lot of wine, well, you can still see that bridge standing. And it was built amazingly well. Eiffel found a solution to build it. So he has a okay career beginning, and then he quits his company quite fast and he starts his own works. And so his factory is in Levallois-Perret. So it's not too far from Paris, about like 5, 6, 10 kilometers, depending from where you start, away from Paris. And he's going to design something amazing from the very beginning. And what is the first thing that he designed? Bridge, but a special bridge. He designed a bridge that is called Le Pont Jeté d'Eiffel, the thrown bridge of Eiffel. And it's literally like an IKEA bridge. So you take a box, you put the parts of your pinched hold, right, bridge into it, and then you just send it, and you send 1 or 2 engineers with it, and that's it. You install it with the locals, and that's great. Eiffel is going to sell a lot of these bridges all over the planet, and you can still see some of his works actually everywhere. So Eiffel is starting to build up a fame. Soon after, he's also going to work in the 1870s on a huge project to celebrate the centenary of the American independence, a gift that France was going to offer to the US, to New York especially, to put on an island at the very beginning of New York, which is the Statue of Liberty. So Eiffel is going to work on the Statue of Liberty. He's going to do the infrastructure, and Auguste Bertholdi, the artist, is going to lay these foils of brass onto the structure of Eiffel to make the Statue of Liberty. So Eiffel is already famous in the 1870s. Let's look at this for 2 seconds, because this is maybe my favorite angle to get to the Eiffel Tower. Right? Isn't that beautiful? She's amazing. I cannot see your comment today for some reason. But look, so when you come to Paris, you go to this side, usually, everybody goes there. It's called Trocadero. This is the name of the area, named after a previous palace that used to stand between these two. And so this is called the Palais de Chaillot, these two buildings. They're making arches like this. So Palais de Chaillot, an Art Deco building built in the 1930s. And there is a theater underneath. There are quarries around. If you heard my tour of the catacombs, you can actually learn that there is an illegal movie theater that used to take place down there in the catacombs. And that's it, right? Amazing. On the left side, this is the Museum of Humankind, and on the right side, this is Museum of Archaeology. If you want to see some original sculptures of Notre Dame, you can go on it. If you want to understand Gothic architecture, it's right there. And this amazing building faces the Eiffel Tower for one purpose when it was built, to offer the view of the Eiffel Tower. The previous palace that was built there is removed, built by Jules Bourdet. Nobody remembers this palace, but only the name survives. And this made so that we can take picture, and there is a view on that magnificent building. The Eiffel Tower is quite a special building. It's a 1,000 feet tower, but how the hell on earth do we want to build something so tall for no purpose at all? I mean, why do you think the Eiffel Tower is so romantic? Why do we think the Eiffel Tower is so beautiful? Is it Paris that makes the Eiffel Tower beautiful, or the Eiffel Tower that makes Paris romantic? I mean, when we're around here, right, we can see these lovely little love locks. Look at this one. Up. I love Paris. There you can see, up, these lovers putting their love locks. This one with the code. I guess he uses the same every single girlfriend he meets, right? It's much more economical. I don't know. But well, why is the Eiffel Tower so romantic? Well, we're going to answer this soon. But first, we're going to answer to the question, why do we want to build such a tower? A 1,000 feet tower. Well, the idea is not from France. We like to show off, but not to the point where we're going to ruin yourself at the beginning. So there are two engineers called Clarke and Reeves, and guess what? They're not living in France, they're living in the US. And there's going to be a World Fair in Philadelphia in the 1880s. And these two engineers, come on, man. These two engineers are going to design a 1,000 feet tower. 1870s. The US is not yet on the map of industrial. Yes, it has been through industrial revolution, but the superpowers are France, England, Germany, and are soon very well in US. There is still some things to prove. In 1870s, 1872, there are these two guys, Clarke and Reeves, who are going to propose for the World Fair Philadelphia a 1,000 feet tower, something considered impossible by any other engineer on Earth. Most of the people don't believe such a tower is possible, but they say we have got a design that can make it happen. So they propose their tower, but nobody wants to pay for it. And they don't have the companies, they don't have the resources to build the tower. So the idea lingers out, and two engineers of Eiffel also have such an idea a few years later, when it's time to think about celebrating the 100 years anniversary of the French Revolution. In fact, the project proposed by these two French engineers was already offered to Barcelona for the World Fair a few years before the World Fair of the Centenary of Paris, and Barcelona refused it. So these two engineers working for Eiffel go to see Eiffel in 1882, and they say, boss, we've got something to propose. And they came up with an amazing design, one of them called Maurice Coquelin, of a tower that would have not full platform like we have now, so ground floor, first platform, second platform, third platform, fourth platform, but it would have 6 of them all along. It was much more dull, and this would have been reshaped into the Eiffel Tower by a man called Sylvain Sauvestre. Amazing design. So these engineers of Eiffel are going to make this possible. Eiffel doesn't believe in it at the very beginning. He says, you know what, work on it, propose it to the architect of the company, and I'm going to let you work on that. So it's good, they work on it, they come back, 1 or 2 years later Barcelona refuses it, then it's time for Paris to celebrate the 100 years anniversary. And so there is a competition held in Paris, a competition that will oppose more than 100 opponents. And Eiffel is going to win the competition for several reasons, but the most important of them, isn't it amazing to be here at night? Right. What is the most important reason Eiffel won the competition? Because he said, I'm going to pay for it. I'm going to pay for 80% of the budget of the tower, as easily as this. So, the Eiffel Tower would have cost about 28 million euros, right? 28 million euros, and Eiffel is going to pay about 24 of these. So that's great. The project can start in 1887, 2 years before the World Fair. And so do you think he built it in time? Right, we're in France. We're known to do strikes, we're known to do crazy things, especially when we build projects like this. But in adversity, we show our best. So within 2 years, 2 months and 5 days, and despite the fact that 2 strikes occurred during the construction of the Eiffel Tower, it's going to be done on time. And the 31st of March 1889, The Eiffel Tower is done. There already are some elevators to go on it, right? You still have to get the staircase to go to the top, but well, from the bottom to the second platform, it's already there. So great. 2 years, 2 months, 5 days. How many workers worked on the Eiffel Tower? Any guesses? How many workers? We had 250 workers to go on the Eiffel Tower. And how many of them died? I want to see your answers. Think about it. How many of these workers died? So I will answer in 2 seconds, but before, let's look at what's happening now. So before 2020, the Eiffel Tower was already doing some restoration work. Starting, I think 2019, 2018, there was this change of the northern elevator. You have 4 pillars on the Eiffel Tower. In reality, you have 6, dividing the way of the Eiffel Tower quite amazingly. And then, all the way to the top, right? Supporting the weight. In each of these pillars, there are elevators, including in that pillar, which is the southern pillar, which is the pillar you can go up the Eiffel Tower by taking the staircase. Several ways to go up the Eiffel Tower, or you take an elevator, whether it's east, north, west, or by taking the stairs. No matter what you do with these 4 pillars, you can only go to the second platform, right? So first platform, second platform. And afterwards, you have to change lift and take a special lift that goes all the way from this platform to the top, because it's not the same set of elevator. To go to the top, you have to buy your ticket to the top from the bottom. They closed the cashier at the second platform 2 years ago, and now you have to decide what you want to do from the bottom. So beware if you take the staircase. It's 668 steps to go to the second platform, and it's more than 1,600 steps to go all the way. Who won that race in 7 minutes? I think it was 4 steps per second from what I calculated, which is quite amazing. Otherwise, well, it takes some time to go to the top, I would say, with the queues and the skip the ride tickets provided by several companies, including ours. You can get there within half an hour to the very top. So, how many of these workers died while it was being built out of the 250? Actually, I'm sorry to tell you this, but they all died. Eventually. So nobody died when Eiffel was building the Eiffel Tower. Just one man died because he took his girlfriend, supposedly, on the second platform in 1888. And that was it. But nobody during the construction died while doing it. And it's kind of crazy when you think about it. How many pieces of metal on the Eiffel Tower? Right? How many pieces of metal do you think there are? I want to see your answers. I've got 20,000 right, 20,000 right. No, come on. So it's 18,048 pieces of metal assembled with 2.5 million rivets, 10,100 tons of metal, of iron, to make the Eiffel Tower, 60 tons of paint per layer. And now we are at the 20th repainting campaign. So the Eiffel Tower, look at this, isn't that an amazing shot? I do it without paint. Right, welcome to Paris. And so, can you guess which color it's going to be next time? It's supposed to be kind of an orange yellow. And so, only part of the Eiffel Tower is going to be completely scrapped the metal and repainted entirely. Most of it we just scratch a little bit, remove some layers of paint, and put a new layer on it. So 20th time over 120, a bit like 130 years of existence. So it's built fast, it's amazing. Eiffel is a master of project management, I would say. Imagine, that would mean like almost 300 pieces per day were assembled on the Eiffel Tower. It has elevators, it has everything you need when you come to the Eiffel Tower. just to give you an idea of how much you're going to queue if you come with a skip the line ticket. So that's the beginning of the queues, right? You see, you pull out these little strings when you come. It's just the beginning of the snakes, right? It's worse than Disneyland. That other price up to get to the Eiffel Tower. So as you see, to get to the second floor, to get to the top. Up. And so some of you ask me usually why there is a wall. Right? Now I have had people on my tours, they were so cute. They were so cute. You know, these old couples that have been together forever, seems like, that still like look like teenagers dating for the first time. And so these couple, I remember there was a couple that told me, well, we were here underneath the Eiffel Tower in 1970s with our camping car we rented across Europe. The wall, the Berliner Wall was still on, and we were traveling to France, West Germany, England, they went everywhere, Greece. So amazing. And there was a parking lot underneath the Eiffel Tower in 1970s. You could park your camping car and sleep under the Eiffel Tower. So I have a camping car. I don't know if I dream of having a parking lot underneath the Eiffel Tower. You can access this part without a ticket. It doesn't matter, right? If you already have your ticket, you see, on the left side, you have these entries that are dedicated for the visitors without ticket. And here, you have got the entry for visitors with ticket. And this is to get access to a restaurant. Because on the Eiffel Tower, you have several things. Right? You have a glass floor. Tick, 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 tick. Up. On the first platform, you have got a little canteen, a restaurant called the 58, which is like 58 meters above the ground, which is the height of the first platform. Then you have got the Jules Verne on the second platform, which is a Michelin star restaurant, where we invite sometimes, where I should invite sometimes Josephine, my wife, right, and partner in life and in everything I do. This is an amazing restaurant. Everyone should have it at least once in his life. You know, we're going to come back to the story of that restaurant a bit later, and that's it. At the very top, bam, you have got a champagne bar. Do you remember what and you have something else as well. Do you remember what I told you when I told you that Eiffel paid for it? So about 80% of the budget. So of course you're going to let him do it. But when he makes people sign a contract, you know, Eiffel asks for several things. So it's a written contract, of course. But to simplify, I want to give you 2 or 3 of these elements that he asked for. The first thing that he asked for is to have his name on the Eiffel Tower. It's not called the Tower of France, isn't it? It's not called the Third Republic Tower of France. It's called, hi there, it's called the Eiffel Tower, named after its builder. So, first thing is name. Second, what does he want? What do we want? Why do we want it? He wants to sell tickets to go on it. He wants to have the royalties, of course. When you spend so much money, you want to have the right to sell your tickets on it, isn't it? So Eiffel asked for the right to sell tickets, not for 1 year, not for 5, which is usually the case for these World Fair buildings. They were meant to be temporary. He asks to have the right to sell the tickets for 20 years. 1909. The Eiffel Tower, surprisingly, was not supposed to survive more than 20 years. In fact, one of the reasons it was accepted as a project is because it was supposed to be turned down. So why would you build something that tall and you would want to turn it down? Paris had seen dramatic changes throughout the last few years. And now I would like you to look at a street right here. Let's go there. So Paris had seen dramatic changes within the last years. What kind of changes? Sun is out. Also, for those who, I'm going to come back to the story of Paris. For those who ask about the sparkling, it sparkles at night when you can actually see it. Every hour, at the hour, for 5 minutes until 1 a.m., where the entire Eiffel Tower shuts down, the entire lighting of the Eiffel Tower, which is rather goldish if you have seen some pictures at night of the Eiffel Tower, shuts down. And then it sparkles again with a black tower. So now, what changes? 1848, the Second Republic starts. 1852, there is a coup, and Napoleon III, who was elected president, decides that he would be better off being a president, an emperor, sorry. So he becomes the emperor of the Second Empire. Amazing. So next time you don't feel your status fits, just do a coup and that's it, you can change it. Welcome to France. Eventually, he becomes the emperor of the Second Republic, of the Second Empire, and that empire, during his reign, will strive to make France embrace at full speed the Industrial Revolution. And consequence of this is the development of railways in France. Second consequence of this is the fact that we're going to make Paris an international capital, a world city. Before that, Paris is still rather medieval. And that emperor is scared that a revolution could occur for the same reason a revolution occurred before. And a revolution against him this time. Because the streets are narrow, you can barricade them. If you have heard that word before, a barricade comes from the fact that you can put few barrels in a narrow street. A street where a small guy like me, 5'7", can touch both walls with his hands, and he can block it right away and do a proper guerrilla fight in it. So eventually he rebuilds the city and appoints a man called Eugene Haussmann. Maybe you have heard about him. He's the reason why we have this type of buildings. Okay, these ones were built after Haussmann. It was in 1911, 1910, but they are still a society blending into this. So lovely buildings. Paris is rebuilt. 67,000 buildings are taken down. More than 70,000 are rebuilt. And this is amazing. Paris is anew. Look at this. Isn't that pretty? If one day you come to take pictures in Paris, up, you can always come to these side streets. So Paris had seen this dramatic change. It's a modern city, yes, but it's still classical in style. And all these monuments, the Arch of Triumph, all the others, are amazing monuments, yes, but they respect a certain skyline. And this one is going to disrupt everything, the Eiffel Tower, but it's also going to disrupt the vast order of these monuments that Paris already had. This is a monument to prove that the Third Republic of France is the strongest regime we have had for a while. And they want to set not only the stability of the tower by building it, and the engineering competition, right? They also want to set the power. They want to set the Third Republic as a stable regime. So this is functioning. This is the entrance of the World Fair of 1889. The 1,000-feet building has managed to succeed, and several millions of people are going to come and see it. So Eiffel has 20 years to make his money back. How long is it going to take him to make his money back? I want your bets. Come on, he has 20 years. He paid more than 20 million euros to make it, the equivalent of it, 1.2 million gold franc. to make it. And so how long is it going to take him to make his money back? I've got 2 years, am I right? 2 years, am I right? No, I don't see your comment, sadly. And because I'm using Prism, and that's the time actually I can ask you to sign up and subscribe for our channel. And if you want us to continue to do these tours are free tours that we provide. So with my wife Josephine, we provide these free tours, free live tours. We accept generous donations, of course, to continue our activity. And if you subscribe to our channel, enabling us to reach 1,000 subscribers, we'll be able to broadcast directly onto YouTube instead of using a third-party software. So it's going to be amazing, and we'll be able to do this more often then. And so I hope that you enjoy what we produce as a content. But now, back to the thing. How long did Eiffel take to make his money back? It's going to be only 6 months. Within 6 months, he took his money back. And this is kind of amazing, because for 19.5 years, he's just going to cash in. But after 20 years, remember, the Eiffel Tower is supposed to be taken down. By the way, this is because it's installed with rivets, so it's easy to take down. Up. So great. 20 years and we're supposed to take it down. So Paris had amazing change. The Third Republic is a stable regime, but yet this is also the symbol of something else. This is the symbol of a design signed by an engineer. So when you're looking at the pyramids, right? Yes, of course, you think of the engineer that was the architect that was behind it. When you think of the Gothic architecture, right, though, it's hard to find the names of all these architects who built these cathedrals all around Ile-de-France, right, in the Gothic style. You can find them. We have some, of course. But the goal was not to put their names onto the building. It would have been quite insulting for God at that moment of history. But this time, an engineer is going to design it, more or less, right? We saw it. Some of these workers working for him did the job. Redesigned by an architect, of course, but, well, it's an engineer's job. The goal is not to show the beauty of a building, it's to show it's made. And in fact, the building is kind of transparent. You know, we are not hiding these pieces of metal. When you look at it, this is what was reserved. Salut les gars! C'est pour le boulot les gars! Hey. C'est les Américains les gars!
America!
Mais oui!
I'm from English.
Allez, laissez-moi tranquille les gars, merci beaucoup.
Ah, juste en train de photo avec toi.
Mais je peux pas faire de photos là!
C'est trop beau gosse. English.
Allez, salut les gars, bonne journée!
Touriste.
Moi non! Salut les gars, vous faites pas choper! So eventually, where was I? Eiffel pays for it. He wants several things on it. He wants to have what? He wants to have his name. He wants to have the right to sell tickets. 6 months, 19.5 years, just to make his money back. And it's kind of crazy to think how much money he made out of it. But the Eiffel Tower is still going to be taken down. And when it's going to be taken down, right? What are you going to do? Just going to cry for it? Sorry, there is no Eiffel Tower anymore. Eventually, at that point of history, 1898, we're doing the first experimentation on radio transmission. And the Eiffel Tower, guess what, is an amazing standing pole, the highest standing pole there is in Europe. In fact, to this day, the Eiffel Tower is still the highest man-made building there is, and the highest platform there is, 300 meters, 287 something actually for where you can stand legally, and then there is still some meters to go to the top. So Eiffel Tower, amazing in terms of radio. And one of his best friend, right, called Thomas Edison, you know, when the Eiffel Tower was about to be destroyed, the journal's titling, "The Eiffel Tower about to be taken down." Right, there's a man, is there someone going to save it? And yes, he's coming from the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane. No, it's Thomas Edison. So they're going to exchange, and a really good friend actually from the World Fair, and Eiffel is going to kind of offer to the French army the Eiffel Tower for them to do any experiments they want, and it would be quite a shame not to use it. Right now, as I'm walking, you see behind me you have the Eiffel Tower and the second platform. This second platform sends the Jules Verne. In this restaurant, which was not always called the Jules Verne, you had a man called Guy de Maupassant, a really famous French writer, who actually was coming when it was open to the public to eat every single day on the Eiffel Tower. So why is that? Because the view of Paris from the Eiffel Tower is maybe the best view there was, but also as we quote him, he said, well, this is the only place in Paris I can eat, enjoy the view without the Eiffel Tower on it. So not everybody was loving the Eiffel Tower. In fact, maybe half of the population was against it. It's a bit what happened with the pyramid of the Louvre. But Eiffel is there. He has to defend his project because he believes it can be more useful than just aesthetically. And he's going to offer to the French army this. Looks like nothing, isn't it? Right? Look at this. Two little light pole, I guess. A door. You have to get a fob to get down there. The statue of a General Ferrier. Right? Creator of the radio telegraph. Amazing man. Almost bear his name, but I will never bear his status. So, General Ferrier. And so, what is that? This is the entrance of a bunker that runs all the way from here, boom, to the southern foot of the Eiffel Tower. So that's great. You have a bunker, the army can play with the tower, and this is what's going to save the Eiffel Tower for good. And it's going to be really useful during the First World War. If you're interested into it, you can read the story about the hackers of the Eiffel Tower that were like hacking, kind of, the radio transmissions of all the Zeppelins supposed to bomb the Eiffel Tower and bomb Paris. So Paris was never bombed because of Zeppelin during the First World War, the hackers of the Eiffel Tower. Then you have got many stories, Second World War as well. Germans put their flag at the very top. The Germany put the flag at the very top of the Eiffel Tower, but the elevators were sabotaged by the workers, and since it was some of the elevators were from Otis, well, we're not able to produce cables anymore. And so no elevator during the Second World War, put back in work as soon as it's liberated. At the very end of the war, actually, a plane, an American plane, flew. That story is kind of amazing. So many things happened to the Eiffel Tower. It was saved, and from the 1950s, 60s, started to be this elegant work of art that it has become, and it was starting to become the symbol of what France was able to do. It started to replace the A out of Paris, and now we cannot imagine Paris without the Eiffel Tower. So I hope that you enjoyed this tour of the Eiffel Tower. Usually, we just did it in 40 minutes. Usually I spend 2 hours in there. We spend time, we drink champagne, we enjoy life, and I hope that you will be able to come and join us soon. And we are building up our website right now. We are offering tours of all the museums of Paris, Josephine and I, and few of our best friends and most talented guides that we know. These videos are here so that we can know each other, kind of, before you come to Paris. And I hope that you enjoy this tour. As I was saying, normally there is a link that Josephine put for tipping, if you feel like this was worth something. And also, don't hesitate to put a comment, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Instagram account, Paris and Beyond Tours, and Facebook page to be to be told what's going on with our lives and our page. And if you need any useful information about Paris, we're really happy to help you booking or not booking a tour, and having anything you need when you come to Paris to make these trips like a dream, like the best days of your life. Everything going well? Thank you very much for watching, and see you soon. I'm going to walk towards my car now. Up. It was rainy. We're going to have like few images of the Eiffel Tower again. So this is the Field of Mars, by the way. This is where supposedly the last stand of the Parisians took place when the Romans were fighting, were like invading France, the Gauls. It was like half of their face painted in blue, fighting against waves and waves of 1,000 Roman. The general who invaded Paris actually, I think, was called Crassus. I don't think it was Caesar who came in. And amazing, right? Last stand here, few hundred guys completely drunk, maybe. All the young between 14 and 70 years old were all coming to fight. And well, they didn't win the battle, but they win the respect of the Romans, who dedicated that field to Mars, to their victory, but also to this unleashed way of fighting that the Gaul people here, the Parisians, had. And they fought until they died. All of them. They thought they could win against the Roman army. But well, amazing field. I love to see, usually when it's that weather, you know, blue sky like this, you have like dozens of couples coming, the men's kneeling down, the girls also, like after everything has been done already, the girls dressed in their wedding gown taking pictures. Up is one of my favorite shots actually, up of the Eiffel Tower. Industry and nature in the same shot. So we're going to finish on this. I hope that you enjoyed. It was really nice to do these tours for you today. And subscribe to our YouTube channel, to Paris and Beyond Tours, and have an amazing weekend.